Well, people, Wish has just hit Disney Plus, right? This was it was to mark the 100th year, the 100th anniversary of Walt Disney. So, yeah, big film, big. It is directed by Chris Buck and Fawn Veerasunthorn, right? Which yeah, is her actual feature directorial debut. So they co-direct. It's written by Jennifer Lee and Allison Moore from a story by Lee Moore, Veerasunthorn, and Buck, with help from Carlos Lopez Estrada and Andrew Rothschild. The film is produced by Peter Del Vecchio and Juan Pablo Reyes Lancaster Jones. Jeez, that's a long ass name, right? It's executive produced by Don Hall and Jennifer Lee, with James E. Hassman associate producing. Dave Metzger, not the comedian, handled the music. Jeff Dareem edits the piece. Gracie Kim put together the voice cast. Production design, we've got Michael Giamo, Lisa Keane, and Griselda Saswafanta. Boy, yeah, the art department is huge. To call out all the artists and the visual effect, there's a lot of talented motherfuckers that worked on this, man. Just all the animators and everything. But we have a voice cast of Asha, is voiced by Arena Dabos, right? We have got her mother, Sakina, voiced by Natasha Rothwell. Her granddad, Sabino, voiced by Victor Garber. Right, we have got actually, let me go here. I think it'll be a bit easier with the cast. Chris Pine voices King Magnifico, right? Angelique Cabral is his wife, Queen Amaya. We have got Aisha's friends. There's Dahlia, voiced by Jennifer Kumiyama. Right, there is Gabbo, voiced by Harvey Gillion. We've got Hal, voiced by Nico Vargas. Bazima, voiced by Della Saba. Right, there's Simon, voiced by Evan Peters. And Dario, voiced by John Rudaniski. So they all formed the teams, right? Asher's friends. There's Valentino, the talking goat, voiced by Alan Tudyk. Who else do we have? I think that is the main lot of people, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's our main crew. Like, there's other people that come up and all this jam, but that's the main lot, right? So the story is a young girl named Asha wishes on a star and gets a more direct answer than she bargained for when a trouble-making star comes down from the sky to join her. So yeah, that was basically the gist of Wish, which it's an interesting one, right? It's definitely an interesting story. There's like you've got modern animation, but with some 2D effects, like the star kind of looks very 2D. So you've got this interesting mix of things in there, which yeah, I think that all worked, right? The effects, the story, all of that was very good. Julia Michaels and JP Sachs, they wrote the songs, right? As David Metzger did the score. So you have a lot of talented people working on it in that front, right? And when you look at this core message, right? The core message is don't put your dreams and hopes in other people's hands. Right? That's the big thing with this film. That's what it's saying to us. Because these people, they make these wishes and they give them to the king. There's a king's a magician and he's got the power to grant a wish. But he chooses the wishes to grant, right? Why are you giving someone that power over you? Why are you giving your aspirations, your dreams, your hopes away? Right? So it's about holding on to them, right? You're the one that powers that. That's a really good message. So really good message when you think about it. There is one thing though, right? There's one thing that I do think is true. Right? There's a bit when Asha talks to Magnifico about the wishes, right? And she asks him about her granddad's wish. And her granddad's wish was something like, I want to do something that inspires. And, the king's like, that's kind of vague. That could, like, what does that mean? There's so many things that have inspired, but inspired what? Right? You could say Hitler inspired, I mean, not anything good. You know what I mean? So I think that is a point that isn't really run with, because I think a big thing, if you are wishing, right? If you want to make a wish or put an intention out into the world, I think make it thoughtful, make it measurable, right? I think that's a huge one. Definitely make a wish measurable. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna get people going, oh, I wished it. And it's just like, oh, but what do we do with that? You know what I mean? Like, that's so vague. So I think that's a big point. But yeah. Now, the thing with it for me was I don't know. You've got there's a lot of story. There's a lot of story, but it's kind of rushed in places. Like the journey of King Magnifico from the very beginning to then mid film is like, whoa, hold on. How did we get here so quickly? You know, that was kind of like, oh, that's a problem. You know what I mean? That's a problem, son. So it doesn't necessarily make any sense. We're just like, but what about the other steps? What about the things that could have shifted this so I thought that was a bit weird. Just like Asha doesn't really, there doesn't seem to be an actual goal to some of the things she's saying. So I think the intention of the film, the intention of the story is great. I do think the deliverable is a little bit all over the place at times. You know, for me, the music, I didn't really gel with the music, right? Like, of recent films, the ones I can remember, Encanto. Oh man, I jammed to Encanto. Encanto had some great motherfucking songs. That was outstanding. This doesn't hit like that for me. Now, I would say that the songs kind of seemed, like poppy. The songs kind of seemed kind of poppy, kind of like I don't know, Shakira-ish, Robin, you know, that kind of thing. And in places like the percussion, like the rhythm, everything was a louder than the actual vocals. So that was a bit, but I think it's like an hour and 5 minutes in. That, people, was when I was like, oh, now this is a song I can get behind, right? For me, the songs that, man, I thought were great. The ones that I really enjoyed is The Wish. No, This Wish, right? So that's, I think, 105 minutes in. And then it's a lot. These were the last two songs, actually. Actually, I think there might have been a very song at the very end, but it was This Wish and then Knowing What I Know Now. Those two. And This Wish started, I was a bit like, but as it got going, then I'm like, yo, okay. But knowing what I know from the giddy, I was like, yo, that one's a good song. That's a good. So I really enjoyed those last two songs. The stuff before that, not so much. Didn't really resonate with me. But yeah, it's a story about friendship, empowerment, all of those things. So I can see it working for a younger audience. I didn't really necessarily see the need for the talking goat, right? And the star does goofy things as stars do, but you just like, but why though? Why the star doing that? Or surely, you know what I mean? It's there to help. So why would it do that? Because that's not helpful, or that's kind of gonna give the game away. You feel me? So yeah, it's an odd one. It's a little imbalanced. It's a little imbalanced, but it looks very nice. The production is great. Production is great. Everyone does their part. The voice cast, it works, right? It can get a little bit tiresome sometimes hearing same old voices, Alan Tudyk and whatnot. But no, the voice cast was okay. It was okay. It was okay, people. But yeah, not the best Disney film, but it's not terrible. Yeah, not terrible. You know, I thought, yeah, obviously, as I say, Encanto was better. I think Elemental, story-wise, worked more, but I guess it's a younger, or as I said, I feel a younger audience this will work with. I think they'll get behind the songs a bit more as well. You know what I mean? But I think an older audience, I think the story's a bit too all over the place. It's not as consistent. Like, you'll get the message, but the story is a little flim-flammy. What I did think was nice, though, they threw in some homages to the old films, like with the wishes. There's like what do you say, like oh, you want a nan to be the best, to have the best nanny or something, so there's a Mary Poppins one thrown in there, and oh god, what was the other ones? A Fantasy Land in the Sky, so a Peter Pan one. You know what I mean? So you get those little things, be like, yeah, 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 nice, nice. And I don't know if, like, because the teens are all based on supposedly the Seven Dwarfs, and it does feel right, because those references to Mary Poppins and Peter Pan and the other, some of the other stuff that we see, the fairy godmother and just all of these things, it feels like Wish could be a prequel to all those other Disney animations, right? I don't know if that's what it is meant to be, or if anyone else is like, well, oh, but yeah, I don't know. That just can't. I haven't read anything, so I don't know. But that's what jumped out to me with watching. But yeah, Wish, it is now on Disney Plus, so you can go check it out if that feels to be your thing. Okay, enjoy.